Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 3 Countdown Live. Unlike the thumbnail you saw, we'll get that corrected. Make sure it is Season 9. I am super excited. Got some brand new breaking news I want to discuss with everyone. As you know, what we do for these countdown videos is we talk a little bit of spoilers, talk about tonight's episode, and we're going to get in that in 1 second. I want to thank everybody for being here. But yesterday was being widely reported by Soap Dirt. I'm not saying that it's wrong at this point, but we did go over the spoilers. But I do have some breaking information which might be damage control. So I know you guys get super excited. People are asking me this morning, Kills, can you give us some good news? I'm going to give you some good news, at least the best that we can do at this part. So let me jump forward to a quote that was an interview with BBC News, Angela Kang, and this is what she said. They were talking about Maggie's exit. And when they were talking about Maggie's exit, Maggie coming back, they also did a follow-up and asked about Andrew Lincoln. And this is what she said. So does that mean that The Walking Dead's original leading man could one day make a triumphant return and therefore not leave in a pool of blood? Her quote, he is definitely out for this season. The intention is that this is his exit from the show, not his death. But who knows what time may bring. We always love our Andrew. So since we've got some time jumps, you never know what might happen. So that is coming directly from Angela Kang. So still not saying that the spoilers that are out there are wrong. It's just this time of year, over the last few weeks, you get such conflicting information. And this looks like some serious damage control. But I had to get this out to you guys tonight as we're talking about this video because yesterday was just so depressing going through what Soap Dirt was saying. And it still has a lot of elements of believability to it, that Jed is still the bad guy and that he could still be coming after him and how that all plays out. But yes, there is still some hope based on this. And I think that there's some outrage as well. So when she starts to see some of the outrage take place, then it's almost immediately. Remember how when the scripts came out a couple of months ago, and as soon as the script came out and people were talking about it, the first thing that happened was there were tweets going out that said, don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you read. It was almost like the same day that came out. So this spoiler came out again, and as soon as the spoiler comes out, here's Angela Kang making the rounds, doing some media interviews. So very interesting stuff that is kind of floating around out there. Yeah, the interview was from today, I think, was the date on it. So there you go. That is, it's BBC News reporting that and talking about just, you know, everything that's going down with the show. It may not be over just yet. All right, let's get into tonight's episode. So, many of you know the spoilers already. Hold on before we do that. We got Villar doing a super chat. Villar says, hello to 99 Army Kill, Steph, Emmy, Kale, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, Patreons, and of course, all the super chatters. Thank you so much, Villar. Appreciate you being here. As we get to this countdown, and what's going to go down tonight. So, as you guys know, we will talk a little bit of spoilers. And then I got a feeling that the next few episodes are going to be really good. Tonight's episode is about kind of the whodunit, the search for who is killing these saviors. As you know, it does appear to be the ladies of Oceanside who are going to be getting involved in that. But before they get uncovered, there's just a lot of things that's going to go down with Jed and with Maggie and with Rick and Daryl. And, you know, people are blaming Daryl, and then Jed is blaming Maggie, and then we find out that more of them are going to end up missing. So thank you, Mel. I love that. Mel the Vulture says, Kills, you're my hero. You know what? I got to be somebody's hero, so I might as well be yours. So thank you for that. Appreciate you being here, and thanks for that super chat. So I don't know. I mean, we'll get into the. I'm blushing, but we'll get into a little bit of tonight's episode. But I'm revved up. That interview just did a lot for my morale. As we're out there looking for information and we're trying to report something positive, I hated talking about it. I hated talking about that scenario, and I still am not saying it can't play out that way, but there is hope. And we'll know a little bit more after tonight's episode. So as things start to break down tonight, we see that Maggie is seeing the bigger picture. She's trying to help. And we know that one of the reasons Daryl knew it was Beatrice is because last week, I don't know if you guys saw this scene, or you saw it, but I don't know if you remember exactly. So when the walkers came up on the hill and Jed let go of the rope, Aaron's arm got crushed. But when they all started attacking the walkers, Beatrice came around the corner with a crossbow. So she's firing crossbow bolts. And when we get through tonight's episode, Daryl's going to see that, and he's going to know exactly who it is. So Daryl's going to find out a little bit early from what we're hearing. And then we're going to see the epic standoff tonight between Jed and Carol and Rick. And once again, they're going to let him walk. And I still think that's bad news. This is why I guess I could take Angela Kang's quote and tie it into tonight's episode and next week's episode and the week after. She does say that we might see Rick again because of time jumps. She doesn't say that they might not go back in time. So remember, they skipped 18 months. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened in that time period, and people think it's a movie. I'm not trying to, blow up the balloon and then deflate the balloon, but time skips can work both ways. And we're just making the assumption that Rick is going to live through this. It doesn't mean they can't go back and, have some stuff from the 18 months leading up to this. Just don't get your hopes up too high. I mean, I don't want us to be in a bad place, but at the same time, I just don't want there to be this false sense of security that could be flashbacks. Viola's like, really? Viola, I'm as confused as you are. One day we get a spoiler that's supposed to be a very reputable spoiler, and then the next day we get people on the show going around doing damage control. So they're watching, and they're listening, and that they're out there looking at these media outlets. So whether it's, whether they're watching our streams or somebody else's or just kind of, data mining to find out how people feel about it, they're not naive. They know that the Walking Dead universe is going to be crushed with the death of Rick Grimes. We have been telling them that. How long have we been telling them that? 6 months, 7 months? And we said, just leave it open-ended, let him go away, even if it's a little bit corny, just let him go, let us have it in our mind and in our heart that there's some slight chance he could come back. That's all we really need. And then we'll watch the show with one eye, hoping at some point he might make some kind of last-ditch effort to come back. But if he's dead, he's dead. And it's going to be painful. And Pete M, it definitely would. So open-ended, Pete M with a super chat says it'll be open-ended to set up a Rick Grimes movie. I would definitely be... let me ask this question. How many of you would pay $10 to go see a Walking Dead movie? Just a show of hands. I feel like almost all of the Walking Dead fans would go, and we mentioned this in a previous stream. I think it would get it back in the eyes of people who haven't been fans or just don't watch the show. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people I talk to, they're like, I don't watch it. And if it were at the movies and they got a chance to sort of go back in, I think they would. It's just a chance to build a new fan base. Whoa, look at Kel. Kel would pay $15. All right, I'm going to give you a couple spoiler highlights once again, and then we're going to do what we do. So just a couple things. We know that the storyline tonight is going to be about whodunit, and we're also going to find out the Jada story. We're going to talk a little bit on the walkie-talkie, talk to the people in the helicopter. Father G, she's going to offer a chance to run away with Father G, and then he's going to say, I'm going to tell on you, and then bam, she's going to knock him out. So those are things that are going to happen, and at the very end, one thing that I didn't mention to you is that after Arat is taken out tonight by Cindy, Maggie and Daryl walk away, and Maggie says, I need to talk to Negan. Now, I'm wondering if that's where she's going to be carrying the fuel that we see. And remember, the fuel is probably been taken by the girls from Oceanside. I think they've been taking the fuel, and they've been taking the food, and they've been kind of putting it to the side because they've been hijacking these shipments and also killing saviors. So got Capo from Mars with a super chat, says, with the 5-year time jump, I don't know how Rick survives and doesn't make his way back to Michonne and Judith. It feels more like a death. And that's the part, Capo, that still scares me. That's the part that still makes me think there's no way. If there is a open-ended exit, I can't see him being away for 5 years. And he's not filming. So let's be clear with that. He's definitely not filming. So he would have to be just kidnapped. And I don't see Michonne waiting around. I do have to, as much as I want to say thank you, Angela Kang, for giving us a little bit of hope, I've got to be the voice of reason here with many of you. He's probably going to die. He's probably going to die. I mean, I got to tell you, Michonne is not going to stick around. If she thinks there's the slightest sliver of hope that he's been captured, she's leaving. She's going and looking for him. 5 years? We'll hold on. I mean, but what scenario could possibly keep him away? Tied up, captured, then finally after 5 years they let him go and he shows back up with a beard down to his knees and Judy's starting high school. I mean, that's crazy. I know, Rhonda, but even if he's taken away in a helicopter, I just feel like Michonne is going to do everything she can to track that helicopter. Like, which direction did it go? I'm out of here. I'm not sticking around. I'm not waiting around for the Whisper of War. I just have a hard time with it. That's all. Yeah, maybe. I mean, even still, Graylin, I mean, if he's in a... I get that. I get a lot of people saying maybe he's in a comatose type of state. Maybe he's taken. I'll give you credit for that. And look, I don't want to make this whole stream about that because it seems like every stream that we're going to get into is going to be about Rick, and we will talk about that during the week. So just hold tight. Tonight's going to be about episode 3, and then we're going to do the reaction. Then during the week, we will get back into this. But the only thing that I just want to say, and I'll bring some closure to it, we'll talk about tonight's episode. Let's say Rick's in a coma. Let's say he's taken. Let's say he's captured. Whatever, we want to add to that. It still does not answer the question to me why Michonne is not fighting tooth and nail to go after him unless she thinks he's dead. That's the only thing. Even if he is. It doesn't explain Michonne's story. And I got to stay true to what the characters would do. So she'd have to think he's dead, not see his body, taken away. I mean, there's just a whole lot of elements to that. I mean, I would think she would want to see his body, find his body, bury him. Just, I get it, but it's almost like every time we make an argument with this theory, it's like there's 3 or 4 other things that just make it less and less realistic. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, Rick gets bitten or taken or captured, but it has to happen in a way where Michonne thinks he's dead, but she doesn't see him being dead, but yet he's on a helicopter. Then he's taken to some unknown place that we don't know where it is, but then they hold him captive for 5 years through a time skip. He can't get out. Nobody looks for him. Those are hard to rationalize. It sounds like more hope than realism. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get to tonight's episode. Sorry. For now, can we just stick to the Angela Kang quote and say, maybe. We'll leave it at a maybe, and we'll dig it down a little bit more. But it does sound crazy the more we try to rationalize it. All right, so let me see if there's any other major event that is going to go down tonight. So we got the Carol scene. We know about that. We got Food to Sanctuary. There's going to be another touching scene with the Judith, Rick, and Michonne scene. Judith's cough could be a factor going forward. So based on tonight's spoilers, everybody has a good idea of what's going down. This is the part where we are going to, I need your rating from a 1 to a 10. Let's do what we think it's going to be based on those spoilers. I will give you my score, and I will give you my rationale behind how I'm scoring it tonight, and then we will go into tonight's episode, and we'll talk about, again, a reaction. So Toledo coming out with a 7. Ron getting a start with a 9. Street with an 8. Tracy with a 9. Okay, a lot of 8s and 9s. Valerie, where are the 10s at? Where are the people who says going to be wonderful tonight? There we go. Emmy's giving it a 10. I knew Emmy would not let me down there. Okay, there we go. All right, so not a lot of people really dogging it. I'm going to agree. I think everything that I've read about it, it is a solid 9. But I'll tell you, I think it can be. It can score a little higher with me or a little lower, and here's what could contribute to that. Even knowing the spoilers, if they can ramp Jed up, and I mean scale him up to evil, so he's still in play for the Rick potential assassination attempt. I said in an earlier stream today, I don't hate Jed at this moment in time, but if they can get me a little closer to it tonight, and also give me a reason that they don't kill him after he puts a knife to Carol's throat. It needs to be very, very well done. If they exile him, it's going to be bad news. So this guy, Thomas, comes into a stream. I'm not even going to say your last name, Thomas, because you're funny. But he got blocked. But I will read it just out of curiosity, just because I know people are like, what just happened? Came into a stream to announce the fact that he was going to unsub. Thomas, why not just unsub? Just why even waste the time coming into a stream to tell people you're no longer going to be in a stream any longer? Blows my mind. Peace out, brother. All right, so let's kind of backtrack it a little bit. What could make it worse? So if the Jared thing is well done, I think that will give it a few little bonus points. If it is cheesy, I'm taking that 9 away, and I'm going to go 7. If they leave me too much, like, you know what, nobody in their right mind would keep this lunatic alive, then at that point, I'm off my game here. All right. Jed, not Jared. Sorry. It's been happening for 2 days. I'm just wondering if Chris Hardwick's going to do it tonight, because I've done it at least 20 times. All right, let me transition. I'm going to get to Pete D. Pete D with a super chat says, just showing some support. Thanks for the stream on your day off yesterday, Kills. You got it. Thank you, Pete, for being there. Once again, it is Jed, not Jared. I got so much hate for Jared. I think it just transitions over. So, and I'll be glad when he's dead, so I don't have to mention him again. If we stream tonight and everybody in that stream is saying there's no way I would have kept him alive and I would have kept him around, I'm not going to be happy with the writing. If they exile him, which is a probably move that most of us would do, not seeing in hindsight how the enemy being out there on their own and not watching over them could be a bigger deal, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I will like that storyline a little bit better than the fear around him being out there. So I could go either way with the exile. I'm still trying to play that out, how I'm going to feel about that, but we'll find out later on tonight. June Smith says, Kills, I thought in the comics Judith dies from getting sick, and that's when it's realized that kids born after the outbreak aren't infected. That is not. That's not the way that went down. In the comics, Judy dies getting shot. Lori gets shot in the back, and it takes out Lori and Judith. So, yeah, no, it's totally different. I did read up to that. I read up to 106. Well, Janet, here's what I'll say about that. So, and we were making light, right, of the stealing the tomato. Up until tonight, this is what we've seen from Jed. We've seen not happy, doesn't like the leadership, gets in a fight with Aaron, lets go of the rope that gets Aaron's arm crushed. And at this point, just not a happy savior. And tonight he'll walk up and he thinks that Maggie is behind the killing. So at this point, I can't hate him. But depending on how this thing goes down with Carol and how kind of snide he is with Maggie, by the end of tonight's episode, I might. And that's why I think we got to kind of roll with the emotion. But when a spoiler comes out and said that, okay, Jed is the one that kills Rick, people are already 2 episodes ahead. They're already emotionally, want Jed dead. Wayne Green, off topic, I know. But will Morgan ever come back? It's a good question. Wayne, I think it's a fair question, but the fact that they were setting up their factory just didn't feel like it. But the time skip, I mean, the way they're playing with time, maybe. Maybe Morgan and Rick meet in that 18-month time period. They still got a little bit of time. It is set up very nicely for Jed to be a relentless, ruthless type of villain. Doesn't like the leadership, could become, in his mind, the hero that took down Rick Grimes later on. But right now, we're just he's gotten in a fight, he was responsible for an accident, and he's going to steal a tomato. Hardly worth him being killed or exiled yet. But the thing with Carol could be a deal breaker, and that's what I want you guys to sort of pay special attention to tonight. Here's the way I think the other thing that Jed got a couple of points is he let go of the rope, but then he came back to try to pry the log off of Aaron's arm. He didn't just bolt and say, I'm out of here, you're on your own. So to me it shows he's a little bit conflicted, that he doesn't look downright evil yet. Now that may change. And that's why I said we got to kind of stick with his story for now. Well, Ron, based on the spoiler, I don't know. It depends on visually how the scene goes down with Carol. Probably. I mean, if he's pulling a knife on Carol, I doubt Carol did anything to provoke it, but I'm going to wait and see how it plays out. But I'll say that it does appear that he's not justified in that act. They both draw guns on each other, and I think he's going to try to get back at her. or he's going to try to use her as leverage and negotiate something with Rick. Either way, it's a bad move. And Toledo, I think that's an excellent point. Toledo says Carol and Rick and Michonne are too soft this season. So the one thing I do agree with wholeheartedly is that not just them, Rosita as well, the typical people that step up for Team Alexandria are definitely taking a back seat. The Saviors are still a little rowdy, but some of the other ones are just kind of let Rick's way work. Let Rick's way work. I mean, they're not trying to exact their will. And you know, sometimes you try to turn that switch back on, it's a little bit too late. So, Donnie Thompson, I think you're right. Donnie says Jed's just frustrated. And up to this point, he is. But when you get to the point where you start pulling knives on people, they're supposed to be your allies, then you're crossing a line. And I will ask that question again tonight because I want to see emotionally where everybody's at. All right, so really quickly, one follow-up question. I saw some of your scores, and they are a permanent part of this video. What are you personally most excited to see in tonight's episode? Of all the things that you know is going to go down, which story are you most eager to see? It's going to be Jed? Is it going to be Jadis? Anne? Is it going to be the ladies from Oceanside? The Oceanside Revolt? Carol stabbed Jed? Shane's not coming back tonight. The fight between the two groups? Helicopter story? It's got all the elements of a really, really good show. And, you know, this is episode 3, so we're going to be able to dig down a little bit deeper into the psychology and see what every character is doing. And of all the shows that are out there, I'm still going to say 100%, the writers on this show do so much about keeping the characters true to... you could take almost just any one or two characters, and like we said a minute ago, Toledo even said, he's like, well, I think the characters have gotten a little soft. And we zoom in on that, right? Any small change. It's not unbelievable that they could soften up a little bit, but we notice when they do, and we know what gets them to their breaking point. That's really the beauty of the writing this season. So it's been absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to ask everybody, do me a favor. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you had a good time. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Either way, hit one of those two buttons. Let's just do it. I'm looking forward to really seeing the rationale behind Jed. And I think they're going to say adios. That was not mentioned in the spoilers, but I do want to see how that plays out. And the longer he is alive, the more chance that he's involved in this Rick situation. It just, you keep somebody around, and as I said, what I know right now, I would probably keep him around up to this point. But what happens tonight, and if they keep him around after that, I'm going to say it's too much. That they went too far, and then you'll start to see all the past transgressions really start to add up a little bit. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. We will be back at 10:15. So once again, we will be doing our reaction video. Enjoy The Walking Dead tonight. Thanks to everybody for everything that you guys do, the patrons, super chatters, everybody in 99 Army, the sponsors, the mods. You guys are phenomenal. We're going to get a good reaction video tonight. I think it's going to be an excellent episode. I will see you all at 10:15. Take it easy. Peace.